I'm gonna be a part of the 1% that actually make it with trading. And I've been ducking my whole entire journey online. And this is week number 33 of trying to get my first payout in day trading at 17 years old. Make sure you watch my whole series right here. And make sure you follow my social down in the description below because I post daily on there. But if you're just tuning in, this is my recap of my whole journey so far. And here's a recap of last week. Last week was not a bad week whatsoever. We ended up the week in profits, not too much in profits, but we ended up the week in profits instead of just blowing our account in like two days like we've been doing this so far. But this week I'm gonna try to slowly, progressively just go up and just taking small wins instead of just trying to pass this eval account in just like 2 days, 3 days. I'm gonna just try to take it slow. But let's go ahead and just get into it. Here's how we ended up going break even today. So we only took one trade today, and price market open, price came down, wicked into a higher time frame gap, and then went up and also inversed the higher time frame gap. So I'm like, okay, it's looking real bullish, like it wants to continue higher. But I low-key wanted it to get longs to these two highs right here, but it took it, and once it took it, it retested the gap that it inverse. Don't mind that ring doorbell, but it retested the gap and then it came up and then it respected these gaps and then it changed in the state of the delivery right there. So I entered right off that change in the state and I'm just targeting it on 1-to-1, put my stop below this low. Just targeting it on 1-to-1 and I put break even right here at this candle in the middle. Boom, we ended up getting break even. Price goes into drawdown a little bit and then goes all the way back to my TP. So even though that would have took some time, it still would have ended up playing out. So I know, I know where price wants to go. It's just like I just gotta maybe get my executions better or maybe stop going break even. Today should have been an easy green day, but we ended up going break even yet again. So market open and it gave me exactly what I wanted. It swept these highs, filled this gap, and then it went lower. But excuse me, it went lower a little too aggressive, and I didn't catch no entry to the session lows. But it as soon as swept London lows, it gave me a retrace and then an inverse gap. This was literally the perfect, like what I was saying. It gave me I enter. The only reason I didn't enter because it closed the gap. The candle closed to below the inverse. Now, if it would have inverse up here, I would have entered in an instant. But the inverse too far down, so my entry wouldn't have my risk to reward wouldn't have been the best. So I decided not to enter. But I did have a limit order right up here if it wanted to retest the gap, but it never did. And as you can see, it just dumped down. And honestly, thinking back, I should have just entered, and I honestly should have just went break even when it went instead of, and that would have ended up playing out. So I know for next time, I'm definitely gonna enter next time and just go break even. But the trade we did take, price swept the low, and then went back up to retrace, and then went back down to retrace, respecting these gaps, and then I entered right here. This was mainly an intuition trade, for real. It was like not really a lot of confluence, that were overextended and might want to could go higher now. And we just swept the low, so I'm thinking, okay, price boom, inversing these gaps, and then came down respecting these gaps. So I'm like, okay, price wants to go higher. So I was like, soon as price went right here, I was just waiting for a good risk to reward to enter right there. And when price went up, I went break even right here, and it was a 15-minute gap right here. That's why I was so confident in this trade. But as you can see, it didn't end up playing out. We ended up getting break even, and then price going to our TP. So again, maybe we should have just held it. But again, that's not even a bad break even in my eyes. We took two trades today, and both of them ended up getting break even. This whole week, we ended up only getting break even trades. We still got tomorrow to trade, but this whole week so far, only break even trades. And the thing about the break even trades that we took this week, all of them ended up stopping us out of break even and they go into our TP. And I admit maybe one or two of them break evens was like I was fearful, but the rest of them, those was good break evens. I had a set break even point. It was at gaps or lows or highs, and that was a good break even point. Like this trade right here, price boom came up, went to a 4 hour gap, inverse this gap, so I entered, boom, just targeting this low all the way down here. Honestly, I should have targeted right here, this low, or maybe just I don't know, because maybe it would have hit better, but. Soon as price hit this low right here, I ended up going break even and it ended up stopping us at break even and then going to our TP. And when price swept this low, it was a 3 minute inverse gap and price went into this 1 minute gap and then break a structure. So I entered off of that, just targeting this high up here. And I was going to break even at this high right here. And when I went break even, price stopped me out. Boom, went all the way up. It didn't quite hit the TP, but it went all the way up, so I still count that in my book. So maybe tomorrow I'm just not gonna go break even at all. Just gonna leave it. If I hit TP, I hit TP. If I hit stop loss, I hit stop loss because this is unacceptable. I'm not gonna lie. We took no trades today, and honestly, it was no good setups today. But it was kind of one that I didn't really see. But looking back, this could have been a good setup. So market open, it been swept session lows right here. So I'm just looking for price to continue lower, and it went up, shot up, went into a couple for value gaps, respected it, and then continued lower. But it was just no entries down here to the downside, so I just waited. I was waited. Then price consolidated a little bit, and then boom, we get a break. We get a break right here, and then we get a retest of this order block and this 1 minute for right gap and we break structure. So this could have been set up right here and just targeting lows down here. Maybe it's more lows. I forgot to mark out. But that definitely could have been a setup that we just didn't take. I don't know. Maybe we just didn't see it. I forgot. I'm not gonna lie to you. But that was the only really setup I see in my eyes with my strategy. So that's why we didn't take no trades today. Well, that was week number 33. I'm trying to get my first pair from day trading at 17 years old. And as you can see, bro, we went break even pretty much this whole week. And honestly, I'm not mad at it, but at the same time, I gotta trust in my strategy a little more. So I'm not just going break even as soon as I enter profits a little bit because most of these trades I would hit if I would have never ended up going break even. But all those tiny break even wins stacked for around $100. So we ended up the week $100 more than last week because of break evens. We ended up 600 in profits over the 500 like last week. So I'm not mad at this week because at least we didn't lose, blow our count like we've been doing this whole time. At least we still got it, even if we haven't passed it yet. But the lesson I learned from this week, and I know that I said this, it might have just been last week, but this week especially, trust in my strategy, trust in my edge, trust in my back tests and stats because I just steadily go break even. I'm fearful to trade, and when I do trade, I hurry up and go break even, and that's just not going to be profitable long term. As you can see, this week we could have dang near passed this count if not had one or two more trades to take to pass it, but we were just so fearful and just let fear and not trusting our strategy get to us, and that's what caused us to only take break even trades this whole week instead of hanging on the trade, holding the trade, and let it rock out either to our TP or stop loss. But that wraps up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you stay tuned for next week. Next week we ain't gonna be so pushy to go break even. We just gonna trust in our strategy, take it slow and steady, and we gonna see how it play out. So see y'all next week.